Wonderful. Now, in Rock Band Land, first, we tell you a story. Yes? True, that's true. And then, who knows what we do next? What do we do next, Wes? Just about right, yes, we do sing a song about the story. First, we tell you a story, then we what? John Michael! Rock your face off! That is right. All right. We're going to tell you a story. We're going to tell you the story about a boy named James. A boy named James who was told he couldn't do something. Yeah, right? But he knew he could, because he believed in himself. And he did it anyway. Yes. What's the name of it? Do you know the name of it? I Wanna Rock is the theme of the day. This is the story of the Remblin Race. Are you ready for a story? James was a boy. He was 12 years old. And James had always been big, really big. Super tall, super strong. He was taller than Marcus. Marcus is part giant, part oak tree. James was taller than Marcus. Because he was so big, when he was in kindergarten and everyone's about this tall, James was my height. And all the kids were a little bit afraid of him, and they made fun of him and they teased him because he was so tall. When in fact, James was actually a really cool kid. And he was pretty lonely. He didn't have a lot of friends because everyone was kind of afraid to hang out with the giant kid. And so he exercised every day, and he trained, he went hiking, and he did all these great adventures by himself. And one day, when he was walking home from school, James saw a sign on the post, and it said, Remblin Race. Enter today, change your life forever. Adults only. When he got to that last part, adults only, James was like, oh, I know I can do that race. I know I can win. I train every day. I know I can win that race.
Well, it looks like a grown-up.
He does look like a grown-up, and that plays to his advantage in the next scene, starting now. James went down to the official Remblin Race registration office. And he walked in. Because he was so tall, he tried to pretend like he was an adult. And the man behind the counter was like, name? Oh, my name's James. Age? I'm 32. Now, the thing I didn't tell you yet about the Remblin Race, this is a very special race. It's not just a running race. It's a very dangerous race where you have to go through the mountains, through the desert, and over cactuses, and there's other obstacles. There's metal spikes, and there's snakes, and there's crazy things that come at you while you're on the race. The race goes on for a week. And while you're running, you're not just running. You have to carry 3 kids on your back. Yeah. 3 kids on your back. So the guy said, age? I'm 32. Do you have any kids, or are you going to be needing some of ours? I don't have any kids. James didn't have any friends at all, no kids. All right, get this guy some weights. I'm going to stack him up with some weights and send him out to the race. James took 3 bags of weights, went out to the race, to the starting line. He lined up, it's all big, tall, strong men in this race. Giant women, everyone was strong and crazy, and James the biggest one there. The firing gun goes off, the starting guns. Everyone starts taking off. James is in front of the race. They're going over the desert, over the mountains, over the cactus, over everything, all these dangerous things. They raced all day. And that night, they camped. They got up the next morning to race that night. They camped that night, got up the next morning, raced. And that third night, they were all sitting around the campfire. And after 3 days, all the men in the race started to grow beards. James was still clean shaven. And the men in the race were drinking beer and sitting there around the fire. And James was drinking a juice box. Hey James, you want to come over here and have a beer with us? No, I'm happy over here with my juice box and my milk. There's something funny about that James guy. The men in the race started to get suspicious. They started to get suspicious, like there's something strange about him. And they checked with the judges. And then the judges confronted him right before the 4th day. Excuse me, sir. Can I see your identification, please? Oh, sure you can. And he handed him his library card. He said, James, 12 years old. Busted. They took him off to jail. Because that's what happens whenever you do anything wrong, they take you to jail, right? No, you're right. No. He would have gone to Jubilee and he would have had to go to court. You guys are both right. But in this story, they took him straight to jail. They cut out the middleman. They brought him right to jail. And while he was in jail, he wrote his politicians. He's like, Dear Congressman, dear Senator, I think I should be able to run the Remblin Race. I'm 12 years old. I'm very good at it. I should do it. He sent it off, FedEx. They sent it right back. No, you're too young. Kids are not allowed. Oh. James was let out. And that day he said, I'm going to join that race. I'm going to join back in. He put on a voice changer. He put on a fake beard. His voice got really low. Oh, I'm James. I'm going to run the race. James took off again from the starting line. And he caught up. They were 4.5 days ahead of him. James caught up. He became the leader. He ran through the night after night together. At the end of the race, I'll give you a guess. Who won? Exactly. And they came out. James had a big beard on. They came out and said, Sir, we didn't even recognize you. We don't know who you are. You just joined the race late, but you did such a fantastic job. Here's some medals, some trophies, some awards. And they handed it to him. And then James reached out, ripped his beard off. What do you think everyone did? Then he turned off his voice changer. I don't need your awards. I don't need your trophies. I'm a good Remblin racer, whether you think so or not. He took the trophies. He took the awards. And he threw them in the garbage can. Yeah. Would you guys like to hear the song that goes with Remblin Race? Yeah! All right. It might be a little loud, but it's going to be super fun.